It all began with a day to remember and to forget for Steve Torpey. 24 hours after signing for City, he notched his first goal for the club at Grimsby. By half-time, Torpey had been stretchered off after a sickening clash of heads that would mean weeks on the sidelines. City recovered from that shock to hold their lead until the closing stages, when Tommy Widrington's equaliser restricted them to an opening day point. At home to Blackpool a week later, it was John Ward's other new striker, Colin Cram, who announced his arrival. A convincing Ashton Gate start saw Shaun Goater miss a penalty before making amends with the goal that clinched a 2-0 win. But problems were looming. Fulham's visit began in silence following the death of the Princess of Wales. And there wasn't much for City fans to cheer when the action started, as Paul Moody sounded an early warning. Ward's three centre-back system was starting to come under the microscope and wasn't stopping goals like this from Aidan Newhouse. Richard Carpenter's second half goal meant a first home defeat, and worse was to follow in the next game at Wrexham.
Hughes. Spink. One of those three centre-halves. Callison comes toward him. Connolly hooking it in, Spink! Oh, that's a smashing goal! Carl Connolly takes it quickly. Brammer across the face, it's in! A superb header from Watkin! Oh, what a cracker! At the moment, Wrexham are too clear. Bell, Gota! They're not too clear anymore.
3 defeats in the first 6 league games had the crowd distinctly edgy by the time Bournemouth came to Ashton Gate. But all seemed well when City made a bright start, and Gary Hours teed up an early goal for Shaun Goater. Ward's men couldn't build on it though, and one of the defining moments of the season came after Steve Robinson had produced a late equaliser. This is how close Torpey came to grabbing a last-gasp winner. But the final whistle brought early season frustration to a head. Ashton Gate critics in full voice, leaving manager and players shocked.
We didn't like that, neither myself or the players. We felt that was unfair. You know, we felt that we're not entitled to draw a game at home. We'd had the bulk of that match. We were 1-0 in front with sort of 7 minutes to go. And then Bournemouth, to their credit, came back and scored a decent goal. And the reaction of the supporters was that these sort of things shouldn't happen. We shouldn't do that at Ashton Gate. And I think that shocked and surprised the players a little bit, a lot of who were new, the same as myself. And if anything, there was a toughening up within the dressing room and a steeling together, saying we'll do this for ourselves, if you like. And then I think you saw the results alter a wee bit after that, and certainly there was a strength in the dressing room that was derived from that situation.
That strength was evident when Luton arrived the following Saturday. Greg Goodridge made his first start of the season, and City received some early assistance.
Torpey with the header. Yet dropped for Cram. Now, was he bundled over? Yes, he was, says the referee. Penalty for Bristol City. It's Mickey Bell. And it's 1-0 Bristol City. It is the start they wanted. Dyche drills it forward. Bell had to change direction to collect it, but he's done so. And now he's found Tinian. Now he can deliver a good cross. Torpey's there. And again. It's somehow gone in. It's not the prettiest goal ever, but Steve Torpey won't mind that. Cram, good flick on. Torpey appeared to being held. Still Torpey goes on, and that's a superb finish by Steve Torpey. John Ward is off the bench, jumping up in delight, and that could well have been a penalty. But Torpey wouldn't be denied, kept his feet, and in the end rammed it into the bottom corner. It's his second in the space of about 3 minutes, and Bristol City are really in the driving seat now. They lead by 3 goals to 0. and they're playing really very well indeed.
Away from home, it was a different story. At Gillingham, City were out-battled by a physical home side for whom Adi Akinbaye was in lethal form. This time, there were no excuses.
We knew we played very badly at Gillingham, and I think if you speak to any of the players, they'll tell you that that was a very low point of the season for themselves. And we knew that couldn't happen again, if you like. You know, we had to sort of prepare ourselves to get better than that. And it was a lacklustre, is quite a polite way of putting it. It was a poor performance. So we knew that. We said that at the time, and we had to sort of work very hard to turn that around from that position.
And what a turnaround it was. At Southend a week later, City won the battle and the match. The combination of Torpy and Cram winning a free kick, which was tailor-made for Mickey Bell. Coming up, a trademark goal from the inspired summer signing.
We put a big week of work in, if you like, and going into Southend, and I think we went on the Friday, and I actually trained on the Saturday morning, which was quite new to some of the players, and we put together some situations, some pre-match situations, if you like, on the Saturday morning, the morning of the game, and I think that really put into everybody's mind the importance that I felt certainly about the game, and put everybody really on their toes.
With that frame of mind established, City were to prove unbeatable over the next couple of months. The coup de grace at Southend may have been somewhat fortunate, but the build-up had renewed confidence written all over it. Adam Locke with the cross, defender Julian Hales doing the rest. A 2-0 win and the away jinx well and truly buried. What looked a harsh penalty award for handball set City on their way against Preston. Mickey Bell waited for the protest to die down and calmly buried his shot. But there was more drama to come. Shaun Goater, eager to make up for missing the start of the season through injury, inadvertently gifted Preston their equaliser. Cue Greg Goodridge for a terrific late decider, and City still had the winning habit when they travelled to the Memorial Ground to face Bristol Rovers.
City were delayed getting to the game, and John Ward handed his team sheet in with only 3 minutes to spare. He named Shaun Goater up front, and the club's top scorer rewarded him with the opening goal. The fit-again striker almost grabbed another on the counter-attack and later revealed his determination not to become Shaun the scapegoat.
For me, I was just thinking, well, look, you've come in, he's made a change. Let's make sure we get another result. I don't want to be the ones that come in and, you know, be the jinx and stop this run that we've been having.
4 minutes into the second half, and Gota collected his and City's second, despite the valiant effort of John French on the line. Goal number 9 of the season, and well worth celebrating with a few friends. The Bermudan international nearly bagged a hat-trick, but this time last man Matt Lockwood did deny him. Rovers stormed back in the final 20 minutes, though this goal-mouth scramble suggested that the bulk of the 7,500 crowd would finish the game disappointed. There was some consolation when skipper Andy Tilson scored late on, but while City have strengthened their promotion push, Rovers were left to rue another poor home result.
So to Brentford, and another win to stun the rest of the second division. By now, City hardly contemplated defeat, and they'd unleashed Tommy Doherty to prove he's no respecter of size. Some typical perseverance from the teenager allowed Shaun Goater to set up Steve Torpy. All the early doubts in City's play had vanished, and one slick move followed another, although the match was closer than the scoreline suggested. Matt Hewlett showing his strength to supply the goal-hungry Gota. Even Ward must have felt he was dreaming. That was certainly the case at Watford in the battle of the top two. Gota breaking clear to give City a first-half advantage. They were pegged back by Watford super sub Gifton Noel Williams, but the 1-1 draw left the manager well satisfied.
It was a major game, and to take the lead and to hold that with just a few minutes to go was very important to us, but also to take 4,500 or so of our supporters and create a really big game atmosphere, let me know that my players could cope with situations They weren't just good players, that temperamentally they were very good as well.
Against Millwall on Boxing Day, City hit top gear as Colin Cram began the seasonal celebrations. Next to fill the stockings of supporters was Rob Edwards, whose goals tend to come a bit like Christmas, once a year. Millwall pulled one back, only for Brian Tinian to produce a cracker. And the 16,000 crowd went home contented and looking forward to a happy new year as Sean Taylor made it 4-1. But all good things come to an end, and Paul Moody's set-piece goal at last registered a league defeat at Fulham. Shaun Goater for once couldn't find the net, and the big spending Londoners clung on. But what did it matter? Against informed Grimsby, Cram took just seconds to open the scoring. Before the Mariners could recover, they were sunk by a Taylor torpedo. Again, the boss had to rub his eyes.
They came as the informed team. You know, we were playing pretty well, but they came as the side we all feared a little bit. And I think we'd seen all their results. They were winning games consecutively, and they came as a very, very strong team in our division. And if we were going to get a challenge at that stage, it was looking like Fulham, who were buying their challenge. It was certainly Grimsby were looking a very good side. And I tipped Grimsby, I think, at the beginning of the season to be a threat to everybody. But we got a magnificent start. I mean, 2 goals in the first 5 minutes really set it on, and sometimes after that the performance can just die away a little, but I thought our performance throughout that game got stronger and stronger, and we added goals to it, so it was a super win.
Super is the word. Cram on target again to rub home City's superiority. Then Gota showed he was no slouch at outstripping second division defences. A late consolation for the visitors couldn't spoil a memorable display.
The manager's done brilliant. You know, I think we went top of the league today, and you know that can only be good for Bristol City. We've been breathing down Watford's necks for the past 2 months, I think. You know, and it's what worked out well for us today.
So 26 games gone and City top of the table. More importantly, 15 points clear of third place. The success continued. At Wigan, Doherty again belied his size to start things off. Well, you wouldn't think of marking him at a corner, would you? Now how about this for quality? Not just the pass from Brian Tinian picking out Cram, but the finish when the return ball came in. Inevitably, there was a goal for Gota, but soon Gillingham were ensuring no one got carried away.
After squandering several first-half chances, City fell behind soon after the break when teenager Jim Corbett claimed his first ever goal for Gillingham. John Ward's men hadn't lost at home since early September. The Kent side continued to impress, on hand to double their lead. City certainly created plenty of openings, but found goalkeeper Jim Stannard in unbeatable form. The veteran stopper made a clutch of superb saves, allowing the chasing pack to close the gap on City to just 10 points.
Again, the doubters were having their say as City went on hand present and had to survive early pressure. York were making life pretty uncomfortable for their former manager, and Ward was grateful to some missed opportunities by his old players. Then Scott Murray earned a penalty, and it was down to Mickey Bell to calm the nerves. Fortunately, Bell doesn't know what nerves are. A 1-0 win and huge relief all round.
We'd had a spell of 5 or 6 games with draws without actually winning games, and we'd drawn at Luton on the Saturday, and it was getting a wee bit edgy, and we had to go up to York City, which is a tough game by any standards, and midweek as well. And I felt I needed Steve Torpey to come back. He was getting himself fit again after another injury, and we put him into the side, and whilst it wasn't our best performance, it was as strong as we'd been for a little while, and we got a penalty, we win the game 1-0, and the reaction on the pitch afterwards from the players with the supporters showed that game, in a sense, we all felt that perhaps it was a turning point again.
so spirits restored by the time Derby Day came around again. Rovers on a bad run, but determined to take some of the gloss off City's season.
Gota hasn't had too much change so far from the Bristol Rovers defenders. He hasn't had too much in the way of decent service either. Now on by Torpy for Murray. Gota available in the middle. Here he is. Was he nudged? He was. Penalty kick, says the referee. And Bristol City have a great chance to take the lead, and Eddie Lomas is taking no nonsense from Bristol Rovers and their protests. It's Pritchard who's been named as the guilty man as the cross came over. Gota was challenging for it. He went down. Penalty kick, said the ref. 33 minutes gone, and City with a great chance to take the lead. And if Mickey Bell converts this penalty, he'll be into double figures for the season. Not bad for a defender. It's going to be Bell against Collett. It's 1-0 to the home team, and Bristol Rovers have it all to do. Bristol City and their supporters are celebrating. There are 4 men in the wall at the moment. Rovers have a couple around the ball. It's Ramasut. One Welsh had to help it over. Good try from the youngster. I remember him scoring from similar range against Wrexham earlier on in the season. Just found the bottom corner. That one had a bit more trajectory on it, and Welsh was happy to tip it over his bar for a corner kick. Bell still in possession. Now it's Edwards. 4 waiting in the box for the cross. Tinian finally delivers. Torpy, good try. Deflection as well, that'll be a corner kick. Tinian to take it. It's beaten everybody. Gota got the last touch. You must be wondering how it didn't drop in. Real melee in the penalty area. Corner kick missing out the players on the near post, and further over, Gota so close to number 2 for Bristol City. Gota pulls it back. Murray just denied by a brilliant challenge. I think it was Graham Power who saved the day for Bristol Rovers. Their defence went to sleep almost. Murray was just about in for his first goal for Bristol City, denied in the nick of time. Murray will have to go some, he's kept it in play, and Gota turns it home. And that really has put daylight now between the 2 Bristol clubs. Shaun Goater, City's top scorer, makes it count once more.
It was a very strong 2-0 win for us, because as you've seen after that, Rovers went on and put themselves in a very, very strong position. So that was a tough game, and again, that was another little mark on the season where I came away feeling very pleased with my team and the way that they'd performed.
If I had to pick a result of the season, I think it would be 2-1 at Wycombe.
Yeah.
Following transfer deadline week, so that was a bit of a special week, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a hard week for me. We'd fought very hard in terms of trying to keep Shaun Goater. I was a big believer, and I still am to a point, that Shaun Goater was a very good player for Bristol City and would continue to do so, and would score goals in the First Division for Bristol City and would help us at that stage get promotion and push the Championship. To lose him at the last sort of gasp, if you like, when even in the morning I've gone training and with Shaun and worked with Shaun in terms of preparing for Wycombe Wanderers, and left the training ground at lunchtime expecting Shaun Goater to be in my team. To find out within a couple of hours that it wasn't going to happen was personally was a big blow to me. And we went into the Wycombe Wanderers game determined and strong, but it was always a bit cautious to see how the whole thing would go for the day, and we put Greg Goodridge back in the side, and Sean McCarthy had come down, so it was a bit of a change, 1 or 2 alterations to it, but they performed brilliantly, and the result was first class. The performance was excellent, and the reaction after the game from players, staff and supporters together was one of sort of unity, really, that we were all in this together. And and then it didn't matter that Shaun Goater had gone that one moment, although I think we've missed him a little bit since.
All that was left was to celebrate promotion in style, after it had been clinched without kicking a ball on Good Friday. City had to wait a few games, then Walsall arrived at Ashton Gate. Gary Hours setting the tone for a day to remember. There was a hiccup as Frenchman Didier Tolo danced through to beat Stuart Naylor. Surely City fans weren't to be denied their knees up again.
The Walsall game at home, sometimes scripts are written a little bit, and it being the final home game, we didn't play great, but people didn't mind. They'd come for a party, excuse me, and it was fitting perhaps on the day that Brian Tinian was involved in both goals, one with the cross and then scoring the free kick, and then the party sort of started, if you like.
10 minutes later, the final whistle, and at last it was time to let your hair down. The players had desperately wanted to end on a winning note at home, and how the mass ranks of City fans relished saying thank you.
The fact that the supporters stayed as long as they did and wanted to keep partying and wanted to keep letting the team know that they appreciated their efforts was fun, and to see the players and to see a group of them sort of diving in the goal mouth and Greg hanging on the crossbar and messing around, I think that just let the supporters also know that with all the ups and downs we've just chatted about, to win promotion for this group of players means a great deal to them, and I think there was a let's say a little coming together there of everybody, and I've always said that if the supporters and the team get together at Ashton Gate, then who knows where we can go and what we can do. It's well worth trying.
The fans were ready and waiting for their promotion heroes since early morning. Many had travelled down from Preston last night, disappointed about missing out on the championship, but still basking in the glory of a promotion season. Everyone was friendly today. No team talk needed for the manager as the team prepared for their final promotion drive of the season. All aboard for City's promotion party. I'll play at the back, lads.
We don't get many occasions like this, and we've got to enjoy it.
In the last 10 years, I think this has probably got to be one of the best teams I've seen for a long time.
You got any autographs yet?
No, I'm trying to get some.
Players and fans looking forward to the First Division next season, but tinged with a bit of regret over being pipped for the Championship.
I've been up third, I've been up second, and really thought this year I was going up first. 21 years and I'm still looking for that. We've got a team, just can't seem to get my hand on it.
Journey's end for City's fans and players. They may not have finished with a cherished championship, but promotion was the aim, and today the hundreds of fans on College Green were keen to celebrate and thank John Ward and his players.
Well, it's great, isn't it? Absolutely wonderful. We got relegated a few years ago, and deservedly so, but it's great how quickly we've come back again. I think it's great.
It's such a long time in coming. It is actually brilliant. I mean, the last few seasons have been so horrible, that we are glad that they're actually doing it.
Fade off towards the end, pity didn't win it yesterday, but been a good season, good feeling for the fans. Hope we do well next year.
All season, the most important thing we've had is your support, honestly. I wrote in the Gatepost 2 years ago, could we possibly get 10,000 supporters to games? And now look at it, we're disappointed if we don't get 15,000. This club's gone an awful long way, and thank you.
Then what the fans wanted, the players and manager John Ward. Of course, champagne was on hand. And if you didn't get wet from that, the Council House moat was on hand. The fans and players alike to take a celebratory dip.